Hello, sir.
Hey,
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm good.
Good to hear.
Yeah. So do you know who Galileo Galilei was?
Yes. He is known as the father of modern science, and he lived between 1564 and 1642.
So I heard that you believe he is innocent.
You heard correctly. Why did you bring that up?
Because I believe that you're wrong and that he was actually guilty.
Well, sorry to say this, but you're wrong. Haven't you learned that men are always right? I guess not.
If you think that you are actually right, then prove it to me.
Okay then, I will. For one, he claimed that he was only hypothesizing and he was never actually going against the Bible.
Well, that's just one fact. I want more.
Why are women always so demanding?
Just go on, unless you don't have any more proof that he was innocent.
Slow down, miss. I've got a few more up my sleeve.
Then let's hear them.
Well, another reason that he was innocent was because he never actually stated that the church was wrong.
That's all you got.
Calm yourself, women, and let me finish. His discoveries were actually found to be true, and he was right to distinguish between the scientific and spiritual spheres to his theories. Therefore, he was innocent.
Well, I guess you're right.
Really?
Yeah. You gave 4 great logical reasons to why you thought that Galileo was innocent, and you changed my perspective on the situation.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, I have to go to a meeting now, so I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Hectares.
Episode 1 Galileo Galilei. It seems fitting to start out a series on influential figures in science with a person who is often considered to be the father of modern science. Although Galileo is most famous for turning a telescope to the heavens, he made many discoveries that changed the way people thought about nature. He was one of the first to put an emphasis on observation and experiment. The important thinkers who considered the workings of nature that came before him are often defined as natural philosophers. It is not until the incorporation of empiricism into the study of nature that we see what we now consider to be science. Galileo di Vincenzo Buonaiuti dei Galilei was born on February 15, 1564 in Pisa, Italy, the firstborn of Vincenzo Galilei and Giulia Avenatti. At the age of 8, he went off for 4 years to study at a Jesuit monastery. After expressing interest in becoming a monk, his father took him out of the monastery as he wanted the young Galileo to pursue a more lucrative career in medicine. At the age of 17, he entered the University of Pisa to begin his medical studies. While at the university, he developed a strong interest in mathematics and convinced his father to allow him to change his focus. In 1589, Galileo was appointed a 3-year position at the University of Pisa. It was during this time that he tested Aristotle's hypothesis that heavier objects fell faster than lighter ones. The legend is that he went to the top of the Tower of Pisa with cannonballs of different masses to see if one would hit the ground before the other. However, this tale is generally not considered to be true. In actuality, Galileo used small spheres of different masses and rolled them down inclined planes to show that Aristotle's hypothesis was flawed. He devised ways of keeping lengths and time intervals uniform so that his experiment could be reproduced by others. In 1609, Galileo heard of a toy that had been invented by the Dutch lensmaker Hans Lippershey that would make objects far away look close by. After only hearing a description of the device, Galileo constructed one of his own. This new instrument would change the way people observed the sky forever. The next year, Galileo published a pamphlet called Starry Messenger, the first account of observations made with the use of a telescope. In it, he described never-before-seen views of the moon, the stars, and Jupiter. Again, Galileo was able to show that Aristotle was incorrect. The accepted Aristotelian view at the time was that heavenly objects are more perfect than the Earth. However, Galileo's description of an uneven surface and lunar mountains that line the edges of the moon contradicted the idea of a perfectly smooth body. Using his telescope, Galileo noticed that over a course of a week, 4 stars changed position around the planet Jupiter. He also noticed how one of them disappeared and reappeared. In the revolution of thought, he concluded that these objects were orbiting Jupiter. He named them the Medicean stars, after the nobility of the time. Today they are known as Io, Callisto, Ganymede, and Europa, the Galilean moons. The thought that objects may be orbiting Jupiter was controversial at the time because it was accepted that all heavenly bodies orbited the Earth. Galileo's discovery was in agreement with the Copernican hypothesis of planetary revolution, which stated that the Earth revolved around the Sun. Galileo became a supporter of this idea and later observed that Venus went through phases just like the Moon, which was evidence that Venus orbited the Sun and that the Copernican hypothesis may be correct. Galileo started to promote Copernicus's ideas, and this prompted his infamous dispute with the Roman Catholic Church. While he had quarreled with church officials over his defense of a heliocentric planetary system, it wasn't until he published Dialogue on the Two Great Systems of the World that he found himself in trouble. The dialogue consisted of a conversation between fictional characters, one of which, named Simplicio, was modeled after those who disagreed with him and displayed dogmatic and foolish tendencies. The Pope was not amused. He ordered Galileo to appear in front of the Inquisition for the crime of teaching the ideas of Copernicus. After being threatened with torture, he renounced heliocentrism, and because he was 68 and ill, he was sentenced to house arrest until death. During his sentence, he continued to study other sciences, and even through blindness, he published another book on motion. It goes without saying that Galileo's discoveries were some of the most important of the natural sciences. His influence can be seen throughout the history of science and has been celebrated since his time. In 1989, the orbiter Galileo was launched by NASA to study Jupiter and its moons. In 1992, the Vatican officially cleared Galileo of any wrongdoing. And most recently, 2009 was named the International Year of Astronomy after the 400th anniversary of the use of a telescope by Galileo.